DarkViperAU is a content creator known for his GTA speedruns and for his insane over-the-top takes against reaction content. He is so against reaction content, in fact, that he attempted to false copyright strike a creator called ChudLogic for making a fair use 35-minute reaction to his 9-minute video. We found this out when ChudLogic talked about it on his Twitter called Irrational Chad, where he says, DarkViperAU, the most pathetic specimen that he is, has tried to copyright strike my coverage of his video about React content. Sadly, YouTube have kicked it back and said they believe my content is protected by fair use. He provides a couple images proving this. The first one is confirmation of the notification that was sent by Dark Viper to YouTube through his Rambles podcast channel, and the second image is of YouTube saying they won't take down the video despite Dark Viper's complaint. Nicholas Diorio says, "This can't be real. It would be so funny if his React content campaign ends with YouTube vibe checking his false DMCA, effectively shutting him down. Imagine writing a 15-page MLA research paper on stealing content and not being able to properly file a copyright strike." ChudLogic continues his thread when he says, "I'm 99% sure it was him. See for yourself. It sounds like him. I turned a 10-minute stream segment of his into a 30+ minute video, offering significant commentary / disagreement. Petty move on his part." He then shows two more images, which includes the rationale Dark Viper provided to YouTube for his copyright takedown request. It starts out with him saying, "Hello, I've made a particular study of fair use law. For example, I have read the Matt Haas versus Ethan Klein case and Where's the Fair Use by the lawyer Jessica Vogley that covers all relevant precedent on fair use in America. I am perfectly willing to hire a lawyer and argue this in court. If you reject this dispute, I will merely circumvent you and serve him myself. If you have not read either, feel free." And then he links the two sources that he mentioned. He then continues by saying, "To your questions, how much of your copyrighted work is used? All of it. Every single frame. Not the bare minimum necessary for a differentiated work. This is a watch party of my work. How is the market of your original work affected by this use? There is no reason to watch the original if you have viewed the re-upload. All information and graphics have already been seen. Does this use significantly transform your original work, or does it serve the same purpose? The person rebroadcasted and re-uploaded my work with no knowledge of what was in it. It does exactly as my video does, communicating my thoughts on the topic. The re-uploader did not take the bare minimum to make something new. They merely created a watch party experience and gave their thoughts as they went, which makes it fair use." But continuing on with Viper's explanation, he says, "It so much so does not transform the work, that my work is predominantly all that is on screen, and my thumbnail is even copied in their thumbnail," which also isn't violating any copyright, but okay. He continues and says, "They could certainly have seen my video and given their thoughts on it without re-uploading it in the entirety. Does this fall into an exception to copyright protection? None. I hope this answers your questions. Matthew Judge, DarkViperAU." Nicholas Diorio responds by saying, "YouTube doesn't read his DMs either." Toastify quote tweets this and says, "Dude, this part of Dark Viper's email is wild. Literally outright stating that he's going to take him to court. ChudLogic versus Dark Viper about to be the trial of the century." Chris the Narc says, "Dark Viper has a level of autism / schizo energy that concerns me. Such bullshit he attempted a DMCA over criticism." The Omni Bully responds to all of this by saying, "DarkViperAU is a total degenerate loser. Zero talent, whines constantly, will engage in mass flagging and DMCA to shut down his critics. I don't know how a motherfucker who claims to have such a wide breadth of knowledge on copyright law thinks he can get away with copyright abuse this blatant." Nicholas Diorio says, "It appears Dark Viper tried and failed to DMCA ChudLogic. This dude is a total fucking lolcow if this was really him. I doubt he even feels his copyright was infringed, though I bet he will claim that if he takes ownership of the strike. If it was really him, it was 100% because Chud touched a nerve. I wouldn't accept any other answer." Def Noodles responds by saying, "Can't wait till Dark Viper drops his 30,000 word dissertation explaining why he's in the right." Nick responds, "True," laughing my ass off. Chud responds linking the tweet where he shows what Dark Viper said to YouTube and replies under Nick saying, "I'm pretty sure it's him. Could be a third party or a troll, but it sure sounds like him. More info here." Nick then follows up his thread by saying, "I asked him and he gave a non-answer. Maybe I wasn't the best person to ask because he knows who I am."
Hi Dark Viper, were you the one who filed a DMCA on ChudLogic's reaction to you? Just wanted to clarify if that was you and not an impersonator.
Nicholas, I know you're a historic shitstar. I don't care.
Nick continues by saying, Keemstar donated to ask after me, and the mod claims to have deleted his message by mistake, showing Keemstar's $5 donation under drama alert where he says, did you really false flag Chud? I'm not a poo emoji starter, I'm a respected journalist. Someone then asks, why did Keemstar's dono get removed? And then a mod responds, I was trying to check if it was the real account and I misclicked. My bad. ChudLogic quote tweets this response from Dark Viper and says, what is the response? Absolutely pathetic, cretin. ChudLogic quote tweets this and says, one of Dark Viper's mods accidentally deleted a super chat asking him about trying to copyright strike my channel. Eventually he gave a mealy-mouthed non-answers. If Dark Viper is so certain he's in the right, why is he afraid to answer basic questions about the situation? Confusing Opinion says, yo, DarkViperAU, what the fuck? Simple question. Nick just asked if you DMCA'd ChudLogic when he used your videos in his coverage of you. Don't shy away from this, my guy. That is the last thing you'd want to do, making you seem like a less reputable individual. ChudLogic then tweets out, update! I have received a second email from YouTube. Dark Viper attempted to copyright strike both the stream of my coverage and the edited video of my coverage. Fortunately, this has also been knocked back by YouTube, attaching images of YouTube informing ChudLogic that the same person requesting a copyright takedown from the previous video is also doing it on this other video. And this person who has been striking him is the email address darkviper8888@gmail.com. ChudLogic continues his Twitter thread when he says, I also have confirmation that the email used is indeed his, as shown on this old post. This alongside the clips of his hesitancy to answer questions about it make it really clear it was absolutely him. He then shares an old tweet from 2020 where Dark Viper asks a question about his PayPal to Streamlabs, showing that his PayPal email is also darkviper888888. It's 5 8s. I don't know if I said the amount of 8s properly last time or not, but it's 5 8. Nicholas Diorio responds by saying, for someone who claims to be an advocate for content creators, DMCAing someone who made a video shitting on you is like the most anti-content creator thing you can do. Actually embarrassing. He then quote tweets ChudLogic and says, DarkViperAU, idiot, filed a second DMCA on ChudLogic. He failed to remove a 35-minute critical takedown of Viper's 2-week-old 9-minute video. Lol. Over 3 times the length. Laughing my fucking ass off. What a joke. Showing a screenshot of the video's length. Flyinese responds by saying, React Harder doesn't make what ChudLogic does automatically fair use. Nor does the fact that the video was 2 weeks old either. Nick responds by saying, I don't know bro, ask YouTube. LOL. React genius Dark Viper was too stupid to fill out a form correctly and the strike didn't hit. LOL. Once again showing the email of YouTube saying that the strike attempt didn't affect ChudLogic's channel. Nick also says, bro, this was literally 2 strikes Chud could have gotten. At best, this fucks his income for 2 weeks. At worst, he could have been banned. Holy balls, what the fuck? ChudLogic responds to Nick by saying, interesting thought here. My stream of my coverage of his video is unlisted, yet he went out of his way to DMCA that and the published edited video. Was this little rat trying to quickly stack up copyright strikes against me to mess with my channel / take it down maliciously? Nick then continues tweeting about this when he says, I'm not trying to jump the gun here, ChudLogic, but this is starting to look bad. Now he shrugged off me and Keemstar.
Good meme drama. Good meme, Keem. That's the way I like to live. I think Keem at the same time. This would be fun.
Is it true you false flagged well. If it is not my favorite Red Dead Redemption, I'm a respected journalist covering a major story.
What timing? Alright. Time for Max Payne 3.
He's either got no idea what the fuck we are talking about, or he totally did it. This is so awkward with how aggressive he's been with Destiny recently. Nick there is referring to Dark Viper's recent attempts to get Destiny to have a conversation with him about React content on stream. ChudLogic quote tweets this clip Nick showed and says, I think this little rat thought he was slick, thinking he could quickly take down a smaller creator's video, harshly criticizing him using the DMCA system. Unfortunately, people are now asking questions that Dark Viper seems afraid to answer. But it seems like Dark Viper's chat that isn't the only place where discussion about this is being censored, but also his subreddit. As Nick pointed out, that Dark Viper's Reddit just locked the post discussing ChudLogic's strike. Xanderhall responds by saying, Dark Viper definitely issued the strike. He's expressed that he thinks any form of live response content is also content theft no matter how transformative. Nick responds, it's wild that he double dipped and tried to get the edited VOD removed too. That tells me this was personal and he thought nobody would notice. ChudLogic responds to this Reddit lockdown by saying, very interesting. He then shares a tweet of DarkViperAU with the caption, Dark Viper in literal tears after watching some gay fan video on Reddit. I am not joking. He then @s Dark Viper and says, Bro! Someone uploaded an unedited clip of you in clear breach of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. I know that this is important to you, so just bringing it to your attention. Quick, get a copyright claim filed! Linking the video that clipped out his stream. And of course, that clip wasn't taken off of YouTube because Dark Viper only wants to strike people who are mean to him on YouTube. So after all of this discussion of Dark Viper essentially attempting to assassinate ChudLogic's channel by abusing the copyright system, going unanswered by Dark Viper, it obviously, and rightfully so, pisses off ChudLogic, which results in him getting more aggressive towards Dark Viper on Twitter. Like with this tweet where he @s Dark Viper and says, You have no idea what you have awakened. ChudLogic also tweets out this community post from Dark Viper and says, I had no idea what a pathetic sad sack Dark Viper is. A few years ago he was truly miserable, down to the core of his being, over some sort of dumb speedrun drama? Can't even figure out what he was so upset about here. I'm about to cut a mountain of videos on this freak. He then shows the community post where Dark Viper links a Twitch clip and says, I think this was the last straw for me. I was checking my suppressor due to a change in the strategies on Big Score. I have been doing less and less OHKO runs over the last few months due to truly hating the category, the rewards for success now being non-existent, and my general fatigue, but I would rather be shot in the head than continue right now. I am not the sort of person who can fake being interested in something, so finding time when I am mentally engaged enough to do a run has become harder and harder. Being spammed at about unnamed, and that I should take a break, has been some of the worst experience I have had in my almost decade of making content online. I have never had so many people so passionately try and make things harder for me. I've never missed being a small content creator until now. I miss seeing a comment with bullshit in it and being able to make a video on a whim responding to it. Now merely acknowledging falsehoods gives them greater life than what you were initially trying to extinguish with your response. Actions that people undertake to make your life worse, you can't mention, or else it gives other people greater knowledge as how to fuck with you. I am truly miserable, down to the core of my being. Obviously I hate Unnamed, and his doing shit for the memes, but those of you who read this who have sent me bullshit over the last few weeks, fuck you. I am not a bad person. I have always done the best that I could. My best is not good enough for this shit anymore. All I will stream is the weekly chaos, and I will try to work on some stuff despite being so miserable. Somewhat. Goodbye. ChudLogic continues to clown on Dark Viper when he shares this clip of him and captions it by saying, here's a clip in which Dark Viper saying N-word with an A. Seems like this hasn't been widely seen before. That's because Dark Viper allegedly DMCA'd the person who uploaded the clip to YouTube. To be clear, I don't personally care about the word. I just feel it demonstrates Dark Viper's willingness to use the DMCA system to take down things he doesn't like, rather than to remedy breaches of copyright.
I gave him a weapon. Nigga bullshit. Wait. I said it with an A. Fuck. I was just mimicking what he said. God damn it. Oh no.
He then shares the evidence of this DMCA copyright strike, and it looks like it also comes from DarkViperAU, since his full name is Matthew Judd. ChudLogic continues by saying, unfortunately, Dark Viper has said before he won't talk to me, as it doesn't benefit him, and also has yet to respond to commentary on his DMCA against me. He apparently doesn't care about clips. As this obsessed fan points out, they replied to every tweet about Dark Viper yesterday. If that's so, why did he DMCA this clip? He then shares a tweet from Flayanese, where he responded responded to Chud informing Dark Viper about the stream clip that he has yet to DMCA, and he says, DarkViperAU does not see a clip nearly as significantly harmful as showing practically the entirety of someone else's content. While a clip is not a substitute of that work, while the entire video on your channel is a substitute. Chud Logic then continues to insult Dark Viper's fans when he says, Dark Viper has some of the most insufferable freaks I have ever had interact with my content. They have copied the worst autistic traits that he has, hammering out paragraphs of text that just regurgitate his retarded arguments. Keep yourself safe, Dark Viper fans. And then he shows this massive comment made by user-fu9kh3lm70, which is just, I don't want to read it. I know it's my job, but I don't want to read it. I'll leave it on screen for a bit. If you want to read it for yourself, feel free to pause the video, but as Chud Logic said in his response, I ain't reading all that. But Chud Logic isn't the only one clowning on Dark Viper, as Nicholas Diorio shared this clip with the caption, Dark Viper Australia, copyright abuser, confirms he has no friends. Only his mods know how much it hurts.
There was this one question he asked, where he asked about like who I talk about. He asked who I talk to about this. Who do I bounce ideas off? And I said to him, like I don't talk to anyone really. And then I'm a bit of a loner. Because I, in some respects, consider myself to be an old dog who was kicked a lot when he was a young dog. And so I don't really trust anyone. I have no confidants. I just assume that everyone will eventually, like, work against my interests. Unless there's an explicit reason for them not to. I've just never really had anyone in my life that I can trust a lot. The closest thing I have now is my mods. But it's not the same thing, you know? Like, if I'm going to talk to anyone about anything, it is my mods. But even them, I won't talk about, like, everything, you know? Because it's hard to trust the person you don't know in person and stuff, you know? But having my moderators, I realized, like, has been a lot better than what I had before, which was literally no one. You know?
So after all of this, Dark Viper still hasn't responded. So Turkey Tom tweeted out, hello Dark Viper AU. A lot of people are saying you filed a DMCA takedown on a fair use commentary of your work by Chud Logic. Seems to me like that is what happened, but was hoping to get some kind of comment or clarification from your end that could change things? Nick responds by saying, that dude is a total scumbag. He should get on a call with Chud and hash this thing out like an adult. Don't be fooled by whatever excuse he drags up. This happened because a 10k view video by a small content creator got under his skin. Willie Mac responds to Tom by saying, I agree, especially coming from the fair use guy. Tret responds with this picture of Dark Viper and says, Chud got him on life support. Chud Logic then sees this picture and tweets it out himself with the caption, very sad to hear Dark Viper AU is currently undergoing tests for gay turbo AIDS. Despite his failed attempts to take my channel down with copyright strikes, I am an honorable man. I wish him well at this difficult time. And that is about it for the Dark Viper AU stuff on Twitter so far. I didn't make a video on this right away because, like Tom, I was hoping that Dark Viper would make a proper response to this. He hasn't yet. This is a pretty serious situation. I know from first-hand experience how annoying dealing with a false copyright strike is, as it's a blemish on your channel that cripples it in the algorithm and brings you one step closer to potential channel termination. And when that is given to you unfairly, it sucks. It really does. Luckily, YouTube's copyright system isn't completely broken, and there are circumstances where YouTube will not put through the strike because it was just filed incorrectly or something like that, or the argumentation sucks. So luckily those copyright takedown requests by Dark Viper didn't end up going through, but if he had worded it differently, he definitely could have false copyright striked Chud's channel and put it at the verge of termination, which is completely unacceptable, especially considering this guy is trying to advocate for and talking about the nuances around transformative reaction content. To misuse copyright like this not only makes him look like an asshole and a piece of shit, but also shows that he doesn't actually know what he's talking about in regards to his criticism of reaction content. Anyways, that's just my opinion. I would love to hear yours in the comment section below. If we get an update from Dark Viper AU, I will update you on this channel, so don't forget to subscribe with notifications on if you don't want to miss that. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video.